Breaking news. The political earthquake everyone feared has finally struck the heart of Europe. As of today, March 2026, the unsinkable Ursula von der Leyen is no longer safe. The woman who has ruled the European Union with an iron fist for years is now facing a brutal, coordinated ultimatum. Resign now or be forced out. This isn't just another political debate. This is a total collapse of authority. From the secret corridors of Brussels to the furious streets of Paris and Berlin, the walls are closing in on the President of the European Commission. For years, she was the Teflon queen. Nothing stuck to her. Not the corruption allegations, not the billion-euro vaccine scandals, not the failed energy policies. But today, the game has changed. What changed? A leaked internal memo from the European Parliament suggests a no-confidence motion unlike any we've seen before. We are talking about a massive rebellion involving over 15 member states, all demanding her immediate exit. The Pfizergate ghost has returned to haunt her, but this time there is a smoking gun. In this video, we are peeling back the curtain on the secret meetings happening right now at the Berlaymont building. We'll expose the specific names of the leaders who have turned their backs on her and the shocking data that proves her leadership has pushed the EU to the brink of a civil political war. Is this the end of the von der Leyen era? Or does she have one last move to survive this palace coup? The Iron Queen isn't just under pressure. She is standing on a political landmine. To understand why the EU is finally turning its back on Ursula von der Leyen, we have to follow the money, the messages, and the massive deals signed behind closed doors. 1. The 35 billion euro ghost Pfizergate is back. The first crack in the wall is the scandal that won't die. Pfizergate. We are talking about the largest procurement deal in EU history. 35 billion euros for 1.8 billion doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. For years, von der Leyen claimed the critical negotiations happened via ephemeral text messages with Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. But in May 2025, the General Court of the European Union delivered a knockout blow. The court ruled that the Commission violated transparency laws by withholding those SMS messages. The court's verdict was clear. The Commission's excuse that they couldn't find the text was not credible. This isn't just about vaccines anymore. It's about the rule of law. How can a leader demand transparency from member states like Hungary while she runs the EU via private deleted text messages? The smoking gun is no longer a theory. It's a legal reality. 2. The fourth motion, a record of failure. By January 2026, von der Leyen achieved a record no leader wants, surviving 4 separate no-confidence votes in less than 2 years. The latest assault came from the Patriots for Europe group, led by figures like Jordan Bardella. They didn't just attack her personality, they attacked her Mercosur trade deal. The numbers are devastating. Millions of European farmers have taken to the streets, claiming this deal is a death sentence for local agriculture. While von der Leyen pushes for global trade, the backbone of Europe, its food security, is being auctioned off. Even within the Parliament, the left group co-chair Manon Aubry has publicly accused her of failing the people, citing her silence on civilian casualties in the Middle East and her preference for militarized economics over diplomacy. 3. The Trump deal and the 15% tariff shock. Perhaps the most sensational development is the recent trade friction. Reports from late 2025 reveal that von der Leyen entered into a high-stakes deal with the Trump administration that left EU leaders reeling. The core of the controversy? A 15% baseline tariff that critics say effectively turned the EU into a subordinate partner of the US. The backlash was instant. National leaders from Paris to Warsaw are calling it a strategic surrender. Viktor Orban has gone as far as to demand her voluntary resignation, writing on social media that Europe cannot afford a leader who lectures on values while bargaining away European sovereignty behind closed doors. 4. Internal isolation. The Berlaymont sacrifice zones. Behind the scenes at the Berlaymont building, the atmosphere is toxic. From the PFAS pollution scandals, where she refused to meet affected communities, to the controversial €1.8 billion battery fund that critics say is too little too late to save the European car industry, von der Leyen is running out of allies. The data is cold and hard. €35 billion in vaccine deals under legal fire. 15% tariffs accepted in a humiliating US trade deal. 4 no-confidence motions survived by the narrowest of margins. 60% public disapproval in recent EU-wide polling. This is no longer about policy differences. It is a total crisis of legitimacy. The question in the halls of Brussels is no longer if she will leave, but how the EU can survive the vacuum she leaves behind. But the final blow isn't just about vaccines or trade. It's about the very survival of European industry. Under von der Leyen's watch, her signature Green Deal has morphed into what critics now call economic suicide. By early 2026, a leaked internal audit from the European Central Bank warned of a catastrophic industrial exodus. While she pushes for a massive €100 billion defence fund to transform Europe into a war economy, energy costs for the average citizen have skyrocketed by 40% in powerhouses like Germany and Italy. The tension with the newly appointed European Council President, Antonio Costa, has reached a boiling point. Insiders report that Costa is absolutely livid over von der Leyen's attempt to bypass national governments to centralize military spending. This isn't just a policy disagreement. It's a civil war at the highest level of EU governance. The accusation that she is building a fortress Brussels, a centralized power structure that serves her own legacy while the rest of Europe deindustrializes. From the 30% drop in automotive production to the skyrocketing national debts, the data is undeniable. The Teflon has finally worn off, leaving behind a leader who is increasingly viewed as a war hawk, who has lost touch with the economic reality of the 450 million. The date is March 12th, 2026, and the air in Brussels is thick with the scent of political blood. Just 48 hours ago, Ursula von der Leyen barely escaped a second motion of no confidence in the European Parliament. She survived, but the numbers tell a story of a leader whose authority has been hollowed out. The Teflon Queen hasn't just lost her shine, she has lost her shield. The walls are closing in. While she attempts to project strength on the global stage, the reality back home is a civil war of bureaucracy. Her recent video summits with Antonio Costa and Middle Eastern leaders reveal a growing divide. Is she still the voice of Europe? Or has she been relegated to a lame duck president, desperately trying to manage a crisis she can no longer control? The shadow of Pfizergate and the May 2025 court ruling still hangs over her like a guillotine. Every secret text, every unrecorded phone call, and every private trade deal with the Trump administration is now being weaponized by her enemies. From the populist right led by Jordan Bardella to the furious left under Manon Aubry, the message is the same. The era of backroom deals is over. So we ask the ultimate question: is Ursula von der Leyen the only pilot capable of navigating Europe through the storm of high oil prices, the Iran crisis, and a volatile Washington? Or is she the very reason the ship is sinking? Can a leader who is under constant legal and political fire truly protect the interests of 450 million citizens? The Parliament may have let her stay for now, but the streets of Europe are not so forgiving. The pressure isn't going away, it's evolving. What do you think? Is it time for a total reset in Brussels? Or would her resignation right now trigger a collapse that Europe cannot survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is the debate that will decide the future of our continent.